and keep up with that for me, that'd be awesome. Letting people in the waiting room. So welcome everybody to the A-Team call. I'm sporting my ARIIX shirt that Richard Hawkins got for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's a great shirt and it looks good. I got a lot of compliments today, so that's awesome. Tonight it's the A-Team call. A-Team, which as you know stands for action team. And this call is all about overcoming objections, overcoming of fears, learning how to, learning the tricks of the trade, tips to success, to be able to, learn the skills, how to approach people, how to greet, how to, belief. Tonight, I think we're going to learn a little bit about belief. I'm actually really excited about both of my guests tonight. One of them has been with the company for quite some time, and just as a new officer with the company, excited for him to speak to us and share his testimonial. And the other one, I'm going to wait and tell you about as we get closer. So again, one of my favorite calls, because we have experts in many different areas that come on and share with us on this call, and both within the company and without. I love that about this call. I love the open environment. And tonight's one of those nights as well. So first of all, let's hear from one of our newest officers. Just a great guy. He's so consistent, just is always around. Every event I've been to, he comes up and we chat, and just have a lot of respect for him. So please welcome Josh Koepp. Josh, you there?
I am here, Rick. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So new officer, right?
Yes, sir. Along with some other title advancements in the team. None of that happens without the team succeeding. So that's really what it's about for me.
Absolutely. So, just when you hear about action, when you hear about the A-Team call, you've been on here before, and I'm going to open the door for you, just let you walk through and say whatever you want to today. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate the platform, Rick, and thanks for everybody for jumping on. I think these calls are absolutely vital. It's just one example of staying plugged in, right? If you have a regular job, a regular corporate job, you don't pick and choose what days you're going to go. You go every day because you have to go. The difference in this industry is that we are entrepreneurs and we can pick and choose how we're going to stay plugged in, what our action items are going to be, right? So as Rick stated, I've been with this company for over 7 years. It's very close to when the company launched, and sometimes timing just happens the way it's supposed to. I'm a firm believer that our steps are ordered and nothing happens by chance or coincidence. And I had to overcome a lot of stuff. I'll give you just kind of the Cliff Notes version of what my past consists of, but I've been in sales since I've been 10 years old. I used to sell used golf carts out of my backyard because we lived on the golf course. So talking to people, building relationships, sales, all that kind of stuff is just in my DNA. Grew up in sales background with my dad and his business. And so this stuff has come natural to me, but I landed in the corporate sector out of college and had a great job. And I can tell you this, anybody that's struggling on this call, or anybody that that's struggling, that has a good career, what that equates to is comfort. There isn't a dire straits. That's why you hear like people in their stories. I don't care who you talk to in terms of leaders, they have stories around, gosh, I hit rock bottom. I had all these bills. I had to go to work. All right. So my problem, admittedly, over the course of 4 or 5 years was I have a great gig. I'm not at those dire straits. I love ARIIX. I see it. I see network marketing. I have an amazing team, the products, the whole thing, all the pieces are in place. But where is the dire straits? Why? I had to come up with that on my own. It's a whole slew of things, but it culminated here over the last 1.5 years. And I said, timing is everything. So what I have done, to bring this all to fruition, I touched on it right when I started. Stay plugged into events. Being at events is essential. Being around leaders, being around people from other countries, being around, just amazing people, Rick and our leadership, our executive team. I've talked to a lot of people on a daily basis from other companies. We don't know how lucky we are to have the ownership group that we have, the leadership team. These people go to bat for us on a daily basis. That just doesn't happen in every single company. So as I've grown and as I've talked to other network marketers, as we bring them on board, I've grown to appreciate what we have. But getting to the events and staying plugged into that sort of thing, it builds your belief. It gets you around like-minded people who are going for the same goal. As the saying states, you're the sum average of your 5 closest people you're around. And that's not that you're around those people on a daily basis, but you can connect with them outside of those events to help build each other up. So I think that is an essential piece. The other thing, no matter how you choose to build, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, I mean, whatever it is, email, pick up the phone, be consistent with that. I'm guilty of this, and I'm an open book. So I would do that for 3 or 4 days a couple of years ago and felt like I accomplished something for the week. I didn't accomplish anything. I just checked off a list because I thought somebody else may want me to do that, or that's just what somebody else did. I had to find my own niche, and that leads me into my next kind of like a third leg of the stool, I guess, for me and my story and how I got here. Be authentic. Don't ever lose your authenticity. I think that anything in life, especially this industry, we suffer by what they call measure and comparison. We try to measure ourselves up by comparing ourselves to other leaders. Well, gosh, they got to that title that fast, and they found this leader, and they got lucky, and they built this huge team. And well, how did they get there? I stink because I didn't get there right away. We're all on a different journey. We all got to grow differently. Had I had some of these pieces fall into place 3 years ago, I don't know that I would have been mentally ready to capitalize on that. So it's really a culmination of those things. I'll tell you another thing. You're going to go through people, anybody that's been in this industry for any length of time, you're going to connect with people on social media. You're going to meet prospects, people that would be perfect, and people are going to tell you no. You're going to find the right people if you go about it the right way. I'm on 4 or 5 Zooms a day. And undoubtedly, every time I get on a Zoom and we start talking about network marketing and somebody else's experience and what they like about their company, what they don't like about their company, the one thing among several that I can confidently say is we don't have to beg, convince, coerce, or sell anybody on anything in this company. And that's a really good place to be because we don't have any competition. I don't care where you look. Protection, pay, products, those are the 3 main ones. Then you take into consideration the fact that we're public, our trial, everything. We do not compare. We are a standalone. So take comfort knowing that you are on the best vehicle possible in this industry, going confidently, and keep taking swings. Because the softball is going to come across the plate and you're going to hit it. And you're going to be glad you stuck in the game. Rick, I'm happy to touch on a few other things, but those are just, I guess, a couple things that come to my mind immediately.
Awesome. Josh, thank you. And perfect too. What a great way to start off a call, great energy and congratulations. It doesn't, one of the beautiful things, and you said it, we're all on a different journey. It's kind of like we go at our own pace, and that's one of the beautiful things about it. And we might catch the drift in the very beginning. We might catch a pace early on. We might wait a little while and catch it later. This is it's a marathon, not a sprint. However, you can run a marathon in pretty fast time, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of people say a marathon, well, that's slow, and not necessarily. Well, it is when I run it, but
yeah, right.
Anyway, yeah. Well, Josh, congratulations. I'm so happy for you, new officer. And I know that you're happy and it's mostly for your team, but you're also not satisfied. You're a driver.
No, yeah. This is just step number 1, or many steps, but many more to go.
Awesome. Thanks again for being on the call tonight. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Job.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. So next up, as I said, we've got a special guest, and I've had a number of guests that have come on this call that I've known very well, from the industry, from relationships for many years. None of them I have known longer than our next guest. Went to elementary school and high school with this individual. He's been a master distributor. In fact, he actually went out with my wife long before she was my wife, obviously. But
she made a better choice. You're far better looking and have way more charisma. However, she didn't know you when she was dating me.
No, it's probably a good thing. Yeah. But Bill's been a master distributor for another company. He's been a trainer in the industry. He's been a personal development coach. When I sent him the message and said, I'd love to have you on this call, he said, did you mean to send this to me? And I said, absolutely, would love. He's got a great perspective on the industry. He hasn't been a distributor for a number of years, but he and I talk about the industry all the time. And he actually works for the company that provides the ARIIX medical to us as well. So he is a very, very talented guy, and I'm happy to have him come on, and we can do a little QA tonight, but please meet Bill Anderson.
Rick, it's a total pleasure to be here. Thanks, folks, for having me. And I'm chuckling as I'm seeing so many of you on the line. You know, you're choosing Rick and I and Rick and your other guests instead of the presidential campaign or whatever the heck is going on that other channel. So kudos to your bravery.
We've got many Canadians on here, so they don't.
Oh, there you go. Now we know. There you go. Well, for whatever it's worth, I'm in Phoenix right now. I live in Utah, but I'm in my partner's office. He's a Canadian, so I'm in a Canadian home right now. You know, living in Phoenix. So I got you. I got your back.
Well, tell us a little bit about you. I mean, you don't need to tell me, but tell the folks a little bit about you and your MLM journey, and then also your perspective on the industry.
Well, thank you. You know, it's interesting. Rick and I, as he mentioned, we grew up in galactic headquarters of network marketing right there in Utah, right? And I started my career very, very early in the insurance industry. I've been in it for 35 years now. So in the early 80s, I started designing healthcare plans for employers. And I wrote 4 interesting plans in the early part of my career. I wrote a plan for Noni when they had 28 employees. I wrote a health plan for New Skin, Nature Sunshine, and Zango. And I wrote their health plans for their employees. And I'm watching these, what seemed to be the biggest knuckleheads out selling products and I couldn't understand how they were making millions of dollars. And I'm this educated, professional insurance agent, got my crap together. I have a fancy suit. I drive a nice car. I got a big office, and they're making like $100 million a minute, right? And I'm watching this, and I couldn't understand. Anyway, long story short, after 20 years in that industry, I thought I'm going to do something different. And I sold my agency, and I thought, what am I going to do? I'm not really employable. I don't know that I really want to stay in the health insurance, but I love healthcare. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this on. There's no way that I can't figure this out. I've been hugely successful in insurance. I'm going to go knock this out of the park. So you know where this is headed, right? And about the first 10 months, I couldn't sell my way out of a wet paper bag. I couldn't get anybody to follow me. Nothing. I could have been selling $1 million chips and for $100 and nobody would have bought them. I mean, I couldn't figure out how to do it. And finally, I went to a friend of mine and I said, he's a pro in the industry, been around a long time. And he said, I said, how do I do this? And he goes, well, first of all, you got to drop that whole ego thing. You really suck at sales in this industry. And I don't know that I can help you if you don't start making this about people. You've been raised in a product sale industry. You've been selling something, a product. You're not providing vision and leadership and opportunity. And until you figure that out, nobody's going to follow you anywhere. Congratulations for being good at selling a product, but you're not going anywhere. You're never going to build a team. You might sell some product. Congratulations, and that. And I remember listening to him, and it wasn't until I figured that out that I had to get over myself, get over my ego, get over what I thought was the coolest thing in the world and help people achieve and accomplish their own dreams. And it wasn't until I did that that it changed for me. And so I took a stint in the network marketing space. As Rick mentioned, I was master distributor of one of the fastest growing network marketing companies in history. And it wasn't about because I was some kind of a superhero. We had a really extraordinary product. We had a great delivery and rollout. I stayed in the industry. I lived overseas for quite a while. I lived in Japan, and I've been all around the world quite a bit. Been all over your beautiful country in Canada and all over the place. Learned a lot, developed a lot of really great relationships. And for me, it was funny because I don't know, at one time I think I was the number 85 money earner in North America or some crazy thing. And somebody sat down to interview me and they went, "How did you get here? What are all the secrets? What did you do?" And I looked at them and I went, "Okay, wait a minute. What did you say? I'm the number what?" I don't even know how I got there. All I know is that when we started focusing on people, things just started to happen. And I have a few thoughts I want to share around that as we go and we kind of come around full circle. But it wasn't really until I did that I realized the magic in it. And I stayed in the industry for about 6 or 7 years, and I'm just so in love with healthcare. Rick knows this, and just very quickly, my motive. I mean, I've been around this healthcare. I'm an adopted kid. My mother couldn't have any children. She had rheumatic fever as a child, and it deteriorated or wiped out all of her female organs, so she couldn't have any children, and has all kinds of medical problems. My mom's a whole different story, amazing miracle of life. Whatever God you believe in, he is the only thing sustaining her and has been for many years. But I grew up in that family. And somewhere along the line, there's this little computer chip in me that if it's the last thing I do, you may have noticed if I do this, you see that picture that says, "That's why we're here, to make a difference in the universe." That's my healthcare statement and motto. If it's the last thing I do in this life, it will be making a difference in healthcare. And it's the industry I love. It's the industry I'm in. Right now, I'm a co-owner and of an organization called Redirect Healthcare. We were based out of Phoenix, and I just love healthcare. I love engaging in innovative ideas, innovative products. I love the amazing stuff that you guys have. Rick knows I call him from time to time and say, "Oh crap, I need some of this, or I need some of that," or I understand. I understand the extraordinary opportunity that you're engaged in. You are making a difference in people's lives in your own unique way. For me, the best way that I could do it was step into the position that I'm in and work with people the way that I do. And it's a passion for me, as Rick knows. It's almost like I can hear my mom calling every day, and and doing what we do is very, very unique. It's not just the world of deductibles, co-insurance, copay, and network, and and we do this and that. It's we are very heavily involved in concierge medicine and helping people along the way. So it's a passion for me, and what you do is a part of that passion, and what I've done in the industry is a part of that passion. So that's where I'm at. That's where I live, I suppose, at the moment in my world of work.
In your journey.
In the journey. It was interesting, Rick. I loved your introduction in the A-Team, and I was, as I was listening to you, the action word, the overcoming fear, overcoming objection, tricks of the trade. Even listening to Josh was talking about, said some key statements, made some key points of it's an opportunity. You guys are in an opportunity to pick and choose and where you're going to focus your action. And I had some interesting thoughts. I know you and I have talked about this a lot, but as I flashed through, while y'all were talking, I was just flashing through your screens, and there's a lot of people on here. There's a lot of folks, different ages, a lot of women, ladies. I got your back. I've raised 4 daughters and coached girls fast pitch softball for 11 years. So I'm a go girl guy. You know, I understand that, and I also worked around a lot of extraordinary females in the industry, and I think that moms, wives, mothers, or girls, are women are so influential in all of our worlds as males, but in this industry, particularly in the health industry, you're such great nurturers, and in lots of different ways. And as I was sitting thinking about this, Rick, I wondered what I might share with you guys, and it's not just some rambling from some sales guy or some network marketing has been of some kind or whatever. And I truly just thought of it, and I made a note because I didn't really have any idea where you were going to go. But folks, when you enter any endeavor, and this one you've come to, and it doesn't matter what other companies you've worked with, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what country you live in, it doesn't matter if you've been dirt poor or massively successful. We all have an interesting experience, and that is we have the ability to choose freedom. Now, I want to just say something about this. Most of us spend our lives working to be free from something, free from oppression, free from abuse, free from political power, free from my job, free from a bad relationship, free from whatever. And all of us know that story, don't we? I mean, when you sit and think about that, we all know it. We don't have to go very far. It's really easy. But as I think about me, and I think about the things I've wanted to be free from over the years, whether it was a challenged marriage or whatever it was, right? Or a challenge with a child, or I want to be free from this pain I'm feeling physically, and I'm going to go take all these super products to make me better. It was a whiny, victim-y, blaming space. Being free from made me look at my life and say, ow, that's not doing it. There's got to be more. There's got to be more. So what is it? And I think when we have the courage, any of us, regardless of where you come from, regardless of who you are, when we have the courage to say, I choose to be free to be the most successful that I've ever been in a company, to be in a great relationship, to be happy, to be productive, to be healthy, to be whatever. Even just saying it just now makes the hair on my arms go up, and I see some heads nodding, because when you think about it, what does it do for you? When you say, I want to be free to, you have to take accountability. You own it. There's no bailing out. There's no, well, I can't have a good relationship because I'm not free from this. I'm free. I'm with somebody who's really mean and nasty, but they don't tell me everything I need to hear. Or my social media doesn't work, or I don't really know how to do it. So I'm not really free to be able to do that. Rick, you and I know, and many of you maybe have too, we've been in places where people live in a dirt hole. They have nothing. They don't have a pot to go to the bathroom in. They're barely finding food in a given day, and they have a picture hanging on a grass hut of what freedom might look like. And they own it. I will have that one day. I mean, I've watched, as many of you have, some of the most extraordinary stories in our lives happen all around us. And it's a story of freedom too. So I would encourage you, if you want magic to happen in your life, answer the question for yourself. I would challenge all of you. List 4 or 5 things, or even just 3 things. Rick, maybe you can have some fun with this and have them send them in to you. List, what do I want freedom to? What do I want? What do you really want? Freedom to do, freedom to be, freedom to accomplish, freedom to, with no excuses, no limitations, no fear. I mean, when you start taking empowerment in that space, fear is not relevant. Fear is an illusion. It just becomes an illusion. It's really, it doesn't mean that challenging things aren't happening. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have difficulties, and it doesn't mean there's no opposition. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have bad days. It doesn't mean you're not going to get cancer. It doesn't mean that. It means you have free choice to be. One of my very closest friends, one of our high school buddies, Rick, I'm not sure you know this, but we've got 2 friends that have inoperable brain tumors right now.
Yeah.
And one of them I was talking to the other day. He's been given a short time of life. And we were on a conference call like this. We've been friends many years, as Rick and I have. And I asked him what he was feeling. You know, what's he feeling the freedom to? Now, here's a 58-year-old man, 59-year-old man, got a beautiful family, beautiful children, beautiful grandkids, and he's trying to make the decision, what am I free to do? Went up into his closet, gave away all of his clothes that weren't relevant, took his business and put somebody in charge of it. And his total focus now, for however many days he has, is to be free to love at a level that he's never loved before. Free to choose to be the kind of dad, the kind of grandpa, the kind of everything, regardless of where he's been. And quite frankly, he's been a workaholic. He's been a machine. He hasn't paid attention to some of the things he should have. He's done all of that. And he can focus on I'd like to be free from all the pain that I created for my kids. He could live there and whine and victim and blame and try to fix everything and repent 600 times when he's already done it, or just be better. So I'd like to encourage you and challenge you to that. The other thing is, just the last thing I would leave with you guys is, I remember, Rick knows this, I grew up, I'm a fly fisherman, and my grandfather was an extraordinary influence on my life. And he was a fly fisherman. And I remember when I was a boy, I was 11, 12 years old, and we went on one of the local rivers down here in Utah to go fly fish one day. And I'm a kid, right? I'm barely learning how to do this. And back in those days, you could go down to the rivers, and I mean, you really literally, there was a lot of fish movement. You could catch some, I mean, you really could have a good time. And so we go marching down, we work our way down to this river. It's quite an experience. And keep in mind, I'm the little boy, right? And we get down to the river and we see this beautiful stretch of river, and it's just calm and it's just slowly flowing. And I'm looking around, and Grandpa turned his back for 2 seconds. And what did Billy the boy do? I look for the closest rock I can find, and I'm skipping that thing right across that river, as cool as can be. And my grandpa turns in time to see the rock skipping across the water, and he goes, "Billy, I'm going to teach you something today." He said, "I'm going to share something with you you can use your whole life." He said, "You better want the consequences of what you want, because you're going to get them all in this life, good or bad. You better want the consequences of what you want, because you're going to get them all in this life." And he said, "The consequence you just got, congratulations, you skipped that rock. It was awesome. Would you skip that thing like 10 times across the water? That was great. The other consequence you got is you just scared every fish out of this area of the river, and now we got to hike down and go find another spot to fish." Well, I'm 11 years old. That's awesome. I'm in for this. It's an adventure. He wasn't so happy about it because he didn't move as well. You know, Grandpa trying to help me. But I've never forgotten it. I didn't understand it initially until many, many years later. So relevant to what I just said, freedom from or freedom to, which consequence do you want? Is something to really think about in your life. All of the tricks and the trade. Listen, you all know you can learn everything you need to learn about the product. You can learn what every component of every product does. You can be an expert extraordinaire at everything in every product. That's not where the magic of your industry is. The magic of your industry is what difference it makes in people's lives and how you help them become better and experience the consequential possibilities of freedom, truly. And the next choice is, what freedom do you want? What freedom do you choose to be or to experience? And that's the magic, I think. And the older you get, the older we get, the more professional you become in the industry. That's my take, my friend. I think it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think what matters is you gain wisdom from the process. And the faster you can get to understanding your consequences and then taking your freedom in your own hands, better off you are.
So I'm going to go back to the first thing that you talked about, the freedom to, and the magic that lies in there. A lot of times I'll share, as people will ask me, what do I do to be successful? And the first thing I do is take them to, what is your vision of what success looks and feels like to you? And it better bring you to emotion. It better be deep enough and strong enough. And it's along those same lines. So when somebody has not been used to that in their life, and it has not been a part of their culture, and they're listening to you tonight, and they're like, I can do that. I can set up tonight, and I can just determine that. Tomorrow morning they wake up and they're still in the same place they were, in the body they were. How do you bridge that? What can you do to make that first leap? Because the first part is critical. Let's get an idea where you're going and the freedom you want to create.
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's a legitimate discipline. If you've been selling yourself crap stories for a lot of years,
yeah.
And listen, no judgment.
We're no exception, my friend.
Right. Yeah, I got the crap story down. So listen, I mean, you want the crap story? I was adopted. The reason I was adopted is my mother was raped. My father's really my grandfather. I've grown up with all kinds of medical problems. Abuse exists in the family. Drugs, not for me, but for going through all kinds of other things. I've been married a couple of times. Been through painful divorces. You want to keep going? We all have stuff, right? We all have pain. You have to stop and discipline yourself to stop feeding your mind with crap. Straight up, you have to stop. You've got to focus on, and whatever it takes, put stickers on the fridge, stickers on the mirror. You need to start filling your mind with productive information. If you're not reading, if you're not listening, if you're listening to crappy music that sucks the life out of you, get rid of it. You need to do little things to start to get you going the right direction, whatever kind of reminder that is. That would be my advice, is to start small, bite and win, go after the victories you can win, and then rely upon your teammates to help lift you to the next level. You're not gonna jump the rungs of the ladder. Nobody's a superhero. You don't get a jump from 1 to 10. You haven't earned the right. No disrespect. You've not earned the right to jump from 1 to 10. Sorry, hate to tell any of you. I don't care who you think you are. You're going to take step 1, 2, and all the way to 10. It's just a matter of how. It doesn't mean you can't do it quickly. It doesn't mean you can't do it progressively. But if you suck at getting from 1 to 2, then help yourself get to 2 and rely upon your mentors, your leaders, your friends to get you to keep you moving the right direction. That would be my encouragement.
Well, and that's perfect. I think baby steps, there's a movie called What About Bill? And it's one of my favorite movies with Bill Murray. And it's like, or What About Bob? Sorry, with Bill Murray.
What about Bob?
He's
yeah,
like,
no, I should be in that. You were looking at me because you could see me hanging off the front of the boat. I'm sailing.
I'm sailing, Dr. Marvin. But baby steps. And sometimes we And that I was hoping that's where you would go with this, because I think that's the key. First of all, any one of us can dream. And the sad part, and I had a whole A team where I was talking about how many of us have lost that ability to dream because of the whack-a-mole. You know, every time we did, if somebody beat us down or said, you're not worthy, or there's no way you can do that, or whatever the case may be. And that's some of the saddest experiences in life. But every one of us has the ability to do that, because we're all embryos. I mean, greatness in embryo. And I know you and I share that belief. And because of that, any one of us can. But what we can't all do is stride with the same stride. And some of us have to take those baby steps to the first step, get a win, get a victory. And it can be as simple as I've never picked up the phone and called anybody before 10 o'clock in the morning or before noon. I'm going to make one call tomorrow before noon. And that could be a baby step. And then think of how you'd feel at that point in time. Even if it was a no, you just go, oh man, I did it. It's something I've never done before. There's little victories. So don't get overwhelmed when the freedom to seems so far away.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah. The other thing that I would tell you is get clear, and every one of you, whether you know it or not, have been doing this since you were a kid. Get as clear as you can about your unique ability.
Yeah.
Every one of you on this call, every single one of you, I don't know you guys, but every one of you have unique gifts, and you know them, and your siblings know them, and your spouses know them, and your children know them. You may know them. It's harder for us personally to look at them, but stay focused on the things that are your gifts and expand those as quickly as you can. And don't try to do everything. You're never going to be able to accomplish everything. You're never going to be good at everything. That's why you have teammates. That's why you have relationship partners. That's why you have an entire corporation that's full of a bunch of amazing people like Rick and others to help you benefit or increase your business and grow it and do the things you do. Just use your unique abilities well and discover what they are. And that will really help you too, because every one of you have them.
Cool. And this is not I'm not, one of these like bring it on, but how rare is this that we open this call up to leaders from other companies and experts from outside of a company? I think there's so much fear out there, and we just believe in abundance and sharing of best practices, no matter what. In fact, Gary, I talked to him today. He's going to come on next week or the week after. He's a top distributor with another company, another one. Yeah,
one of the best humans around.
Yeah, and it's not normal.
Yeah. Well, you guys are really lucky. You have Rick is a unique leader and has a unique leadership style. And Rick understands a principle that what he's referring to here, whether you know it or not, or whether you've seen it, maybe some of you recognize that you've been around him long enough, but the principle is a principle of success. The principle is that it's not about the parts. If we could use a simple metaphor, what is the purpose of the spider web? What's the purpose of a spider web? Simply, anybody? Bueller? What's the purpose of a spider web?
Nobody can unmute themselves.
Okay, what's the purpose of a spider web?
Spread out energy.
The spider web?
Yeah.
Okay, keep working with it. That does that, but I mean but isn't it really just in its simplest form to feed the spider?
No, to catch prey, yeah.
Catches prey, it does that, but it feeds the spider. The reality of it is, what happens when the web is broken at night? Bird flies through it, big bug tears a bunch of it down. What happens very quickly? The spider fixes the broken part. Yeah. Why? Because it doesn't want to starve to death, right? The parts are all part of a successful experience. It's not about any one of the parts, right? So in your company, I hate to tell you, but it's not about you. None of you are that cool, or me, or Rick. Nobody's that cool. You're all part of a principled success organization. That's what Rick is referring to, whether it's me, whether it's Gary, our friend, or other people that he brings on. People who get this, they don't have any fears about interaction. It's not about stealing your network or your downline or coming in and trying to hone in on something. It's not about me coming in and talking about what I do that's trying to influence you one way or another. This is about real principled living. And the better that you get at it, where you can embrace the good and the power of all those that are participating in the web, you're going to get powerful. It's an extraordinary opportunity to gain wisdom from anybody who can empower that web.
Amen. We get energy from everyone we interact with, either positive or negative. There's very, very little neutral energy out there. And this is an opportunity to find those with positive energy and seek out those who have that positive energy. I talk to people all the time that are frustrated because they seem to attract a lot of people that are takers that are stealing energy from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest areas of and mistakes in the industry. We settle for those because we probably know them. We probably are family members with them.
Yeah.
And in actuality, the best thing we can do is break free and interact with those with positive energy, because that positive energy not only feeds us like the spider web does the spider, but it also feeds everyone else around them, and it creates an energy around you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it now you're back to, at least in the way of example I use, now you're back to freedom from. If I have a bunch of negative energy around me, I have a bunch of negative people around me, I have a negative team, I have a negative spouse, I have a negative whatever, you're going to totally focus on, I need freedom from that. And you're going to be in a constant state of finding excuses about why things aren't working, instead of generating
That's right.
really powerful positive energy around freedom too, and focusing on a more authentic loving process. You can be in a tough love situation and say, hey, love you, you're awesome, but you don't get to suck this energy out of my room. You don't get to suck this energy out of my space. It's okay. This is where I'm at, and I'm going to bring freedom. My freedom to statement is I'm going to be successful at this, and I have a freedom and opportunity to choose it, and that's what I'm going to do. I want you to be in that space. I want you to walk with me. I want you to be energized with me, but I'm not going to let you. You don't get to do that, and you have the right to say that. You don't want to be. Listen, the industry you're in is not adult daycare. In case you don't know, it's not adult daycare. And it feels like that often, I'm sure. But it's not. It's a business. It's an opportunity. It's a corporation that is doing amazing things to offer its salespeople, its referrers, the chance to share in an upside. It's not a babysitting program to save your mom. It's not. And you don't want to get stuck in that space. It doesn't mean you can't do nice things. It doesn't mean you can't serve people. It doesn't mean you can't help. That's not what it means. It means you just got to get clear about what you're in.
Yeah.
So, and it's important.
It's critical. Yeah. Well, Bill, thank you. I told you it was going to be 40 minutes. It's a few minutes over, but thank you so much for joining us, for your friendship, for years of friendship, for the interaction that we have together, and for sharing your wisdom tonight. It was great. Josh, thank you for kicking us off and the right energy and awesome. Congratulations again on your early success. We'll let you determine what that final outcome looks like.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah. Thanks to both.
Rick. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate all you guys. Thanks for letting me spend some time with you tonight.
Yeah. And Bill, just for the record, I got the girl.
I know you did. You won the girl. You got the girl. You got everything. It's just like, hey, you know what? I have one last thing to say about you.
No, don't do that.
No, really. You have been such a good friend for so many years. And I mean, we literally have known each other since we were boys. We've been through every dark hole and every hell and every success, and seen lots of things happen in our life, in our families, to our friends, in business, in our religion, I mean, we've walked an interesting path. I just want you folks to know that you're in a special place. You have a leader who is an authentic man, who has chosen to participate in an industry that he loves, and with a people that he loves, truly, that he loves. And when you have a leader that is that passionate and that committed, all kinds of things can happen. So the things we're talking about tonight usually happen from the top down. Now, I don't know all of the rest of the leaders of your company, and I know a few of them just from being around, but I know this one. And it often starts with one person. So you're a lucky group. I'm sure there are many of you that are very much like him, or you wouldn't be in this group, because like attracts like. And I applaud you for such, and encourage you to continue to lift others, because that's what he does. So thanks, Rick, for all the years of lifting, all the years of inspiring, all the years of friendship. You guys go get them.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks. And that was a little too much, but thanks.
All right. Well, you can buy lunch next.
Yeah, you got that. I stopped the recording. I'm going to unmute the line so you can express your gratitude to Bill and to Josh. Thanks, guys.
Bill and
Awesome
John.
call.
Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Thank
Josh.
you, guys. That was
Appreciate
great.
that.
Thank you
That was
so
awesome.